Well, let's begin here. An immigrant once celebrated as a, quote, outstanding refugee is now accused in a multi-million-dollar Medicaid scheme that prosecutors say involved sex trafficking. Funny how that happens. And that's just one of two blue state fraud cases raising eyebrows today, from Minnesota all the way to Massachusetts, where there's allegations of fraud that are putting millions of taxpayer dollars and the people entrusted with them under the microscope. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Ainsley Earhart, Fox & Friends co-host, and Todd Pyro, Fox & Friends First co-host. Well, he was once heralded by Minnesota as an outstanding refugee success story. Now, one Somali immigrant is facing 8 counts tied to an alleged $4.5 million Medicaid fraud scheme. Prosecutors say Salman Ahmed Elmi and 3 associates operated 4 sham healthcare businesses that billed Medicaid for services that never happened, while also running a sex trafficking ring. The group allegedly falsified Medicaid bills, paid illegal kickbacks for information to submit false claims, lied about having proper supervision when none was provided, and most heinously were involved in a commercial pay-for-sex enterprise where they would take vulnerable women, rent apartments in their name, and then the crew would steal the identities of the men paying for those women's services and bill Medicaid in their names. That's according to court records. Now, Elmi was released after surrendering his passport and agreeing to remain in Minnesota. Well, let's head over to Massachusetts, Lawrence, where there is Mayor Brian DePena, who is accused of misusing more than $1.5 million in COVID relief loans. But it's what happened outside court that has sent this case viral.
Hi, guy.
Do you have any comment to the city?
Hi, guy. Hi, guy. Hi, guy.
How are you,
No
Mr.
comment.
Mayor?
Excuse me.
I'm fine.
Excuse me, guys. What's your? I don't want to. Just relax.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you.
Just relax. You don't
God bless you.
We're not. We're just.
God bless you.
Sure. Do you think that?
You want to say he doesn't speak English?
Not
No
it.
comment.
Are you
Going to
Are you innocent? Resign, sir.
No comment.
Do you need to
Thank you.
resign?
No, he's done
God
a great
bless
job.
you.
So you heard that right. Mayor DePena, the mayor of an American city, claiming he cannot speak English. He kept saying, God bless you, to the reporters. And if you thought the mayor's exit couldn't get any bumpier, it did, as his attorney appeared to crash into a parked car while fleeing reporters.
Hey, just talk to us. Wait, just talk to us.
I don't know.
Oh! Hey now.
Ainsley, these seem like, I don't know, soap opera episodes, but they are real tales of Americans.
Well, you know, you're right. And these are people that came to our country, and now they're stealing from the taxpayers, both situations. And they were heralded as heroes. They were receiving awards. The first guy in Minnesota, not the guy you just saw there, we'll get back to him, he was honored by the State's Department of Health and Human Services for Outstanding Refugee Award for Entrepreneurship. But entrepreneurship, his businesses are illegal. His businesses are phony, running 4 phony agencies in Minnesota, one called Riva Health, Riva Autism, Helpful Housing, and Home Felt Assisted Living, and then scamming the government out of $4.5 million, not to mention running this pay-for-sex scheme, according to court records. Then the guy in Massachusetts, not only does he not speak English, he's been in politics, representing Lawrence, Massachusetts for 10 years, but he doesn't speak English. How is he supposed to write bills or write documents or change laws? And don't you think that needs to be a prereq, that you have to serve your elected officials and speak the language of the country that you live in? We need to assimilate. If you come to our country, assimilate and be a part of it. You're welcome to come here legally. You're welcome to learn our language, and then you can be a part of the family. But you can't come into our country and then scam taxpayers out of millions of dollars and you pay your bills with it. The Massachusetts guy, he got $1 million in COVID fraud money. He's charged with wire fraud and money laundering, meant for his employees at his tire business, but accused of paying off his debts and for using that money for his mayoral campaign, y'all.
Yeah,
Wrong.
Wrong. It's crazy. And this guy, the first one that was mentioned, the Minneapolis guy who has a heinous scheme, Todd, he got Outstanding Refugee of the Year. It appears Minnesota does not vet their outstanding refugees.
Yeah, look, the timing of this is a little bit unclear. The award was, I believe, in earlier than the fraud.
Okay.
There's potentially it began in 2019. His nexus to it is a little bit unclear. But overall, the overall point is this. you have communities, be it Minnesota, be it Massachusetts, blue communities that create an environment where illegality and people doing the wrong thing is rewarded, all in an effort to virtue signal. So let's take Minnesota, for example. There was no way they weren't going to give an award to a refugee, to a guy, even if they did or did not check his background. Why? Because that's the Somali community that they need the votes from, right? And it's good. We want to be the people that turn a blind eye to whatever refugees and illegals do, because that's what a woke town does, or a woke state does. Go over to Massachusetts. Here you have a guy, we don't know officially if the guy doesn't speak English, but in that clip, he didn't speak English, okay? That said, I don't think that's a flaw to the voters in that community in Massachusetts. That's probably a net positive to them because of this wokeness that pervades these states. Imagine trying that in a red state. That guy wouldn't even make the ballot. And in a red state, I don't think you have a ton of awards, especially entrepreneur awards, for people who do a fraud within a fraud. I mean, I guess that is pretty entrepreneurial of the guy to do a fraud within a fraud. I knew I'd get Emily's laugh on that one. But the overall point is these states are different, and they are the foundation for all the nonsense and the fraud that we're seeing that J.D. Vance and the administration are really trying to root out.
But so maybe they vet their outstanding refugee. Who knows? They don't vet some of the people getting these services, Harris. And you have Tim Walz, who is at the top, and then his number two, the lieutenant governor, Peggy Flanagan, who's asking to be the next governor.
Well, and he has an AG. Keith Ellison didn't vet them either. That's really in his lane, his wheelhouse, if you will. But I agree with you. It is the place where this is happening. The bastions of, you say woke, and I say Democrat socialism incubators. Because if we wanted to know where some of this came from, just look at some of the areas now that have this sort of thing going on. I mean, who's watching the store for voters? Who's vetting the bad guys, but also they're victims in these cases?
Yes.
Because if you didn't get what you needed because these guys absconded with the cash, then that's a crime, and there's a real victim in that scenario. So who's watching all of this outside of the media at Fox? Like, I want to know, is this a series of people who have fallen down on their responsibilities, including the Attorney General's office? And however those levels go, it's happening because it's being allowed to happen. There are too many people involved who should be watching this. They just must be doing it on purpose and turning a blind eye. And it's on them to prove that they're not. Come on, get up, go do what you're supposed to do.
Emily, the Minnesota scheme had been investigated since 2019, and now we see not just fraud, sex trafficking. I mean, this is so heinous. So many victims here, innocent women.
And that's why I'm particularly appalled that we have essentially heard just crickets from those leadership there in Minnesota and in all of these states. I've mentioned to you guys before a case that I saw firsthand where a physician who deigned to bill Medicaid patients for less than the amount of overhead it took to bill them. So meaning if it takes 20 cents to send an envelope and the remaining bill is just 15 cents, they wouldn't do it. Well, that person was prosecuted for Medicare fraud. And it makes me sick to my stomach to think my taxpayers paid for that, paid for the investigation, paid for the referral from the, whatever it was. And this was the kind of stuff that was meanwhile going on in California and Minnesota and all these places. There is no bigger egg on their face, I would think, than that feckless government there giving an outstanding refugee award. By the way, what is that?
I agree.
What is that? And then to have it come back in full fold, well, this is the Frankenstein monster that you created. This is what happens when you don't ask questions, have no oversight, have never demonstrated accountability, have never demonstrated a commitment to anything above board. And remember, when those first voices, who are now federally designated as whistleblowers, by the way, dared to say, look, I see discrepancies, they were called racist. And then the media piled on and were complicit too. So this is a massive joke that this was allowed to occur for so long, to fester as the toxic tumor it was. And when you add in sex trafficking, that makes this absolutely tragic. And I hope I see criminal repercussions for a lot more people involved in this, including many in that governor's office.
And who has their eye out for the victims? I mean, to me, they're all whistleblowers because they've been harmed and they know how they've been harmed. But who do they tell? Yeah. And just real quickly, here in New York City, I know I mentioned Democrat socialism, the incubator that these areas can be. The reason I say that is, how do you think they're going to make up for the money that the voters didn't get when they were promised those services that they were going to benefit from? They're going to raise taxes. They're going to make everybody else in the state pay. Oh, well, you know, we can't get that money back. So that was fraud. Let's just raise taxes.
Yeah. And now the voters of Minnesota will get to decide whether to get new leadership or not. We will see what they choose in just a few months. All right.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.